Hello everyone, my name is Noah. I'm in Senior 1 and I go to Nyenga Seminary. These are my friends, Willis and Nicole, and today we are going to prepare a local meal.
To prepare this, we need the following. We need chicken for the Luwombo. We need mushrooms to mix with the guinea in the guinea and mushrooms Luwombo. For the chicken Luwombo, we need the following. We need onions, tomatoes, carrots, and green pepper.
We are also going to prepare matoke. A plate full of matoke is composed of 3/4 of water, which is very good for people who want to lose some fat in their bodies, and 1/4 of carbohydrates for those who are trying to build the body a little. And matoke almost have no protein because they are only rich in potassium. Potassium helps them, plays a role in them of regulating blood pressure in the body.
One serving of matoke has the same amount of energy calories as a cup of rice or roasted chicken.
In the mushrooms we have here, we know that they are only rich in protein. And in all the foods we have here, we know that the main nutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. In their natural states, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are complex organic compounds that are very difficult for our bodies to break down.
For groundnuts, every 100 grams of groundnut sauce is composed of 7 grams of fat, 2 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbohydrates, the rest being minerals and vitamins, especially vitamin B6 and magnesium.
When in the matoke, in 450 grams of matoke, in 450 grams of matoke, every one of them, there are 174 grams of carbohydrates, 13 grams of proteins, and the rest are minerals such as magnesium and sodium.
Matoke can't be broken down without cooking. We can see this by trying to eat raw matoke or raw groundnuts with mushrooms. Besides, this is non-tasty. This is why we should cook them for these 2 reasons. To break down the complex organic molecules into simple ones that our bodies can digest, to get nutrition, and add taste to the food.
Cooking is simply applying heat to our food, and this heat can be applied in many ways, such as by roasting, smoking, frying, and today we are specifically here to see steaming. This heat breaks down the chemical bonds of the complex organic molecules, which are then reduced into simpler molecules.
For example, when starch granules swell and burst, they release oxygen. They release glucose. For proteins, when heated with water, their structures change and some bonds between the proteins break, hence making the food soft.
And it is important to note that the nutritional content in the food before it's heated or cooked is the same nutrition. You find the same nutrients in the food right when it's presented on the plate.
Yes, steaming ensures that food cooks slowly, hence making it retain flavor from the steam that comes up.
Now let's wait for Noah to finish and we explain how we are going to cook our food.
In our tradition, we don't cook matoke alone, and so we add a side dish. In our case, yams are going to be our side dish.
And in yams, we know that yams are rich in calcium. They are rich in carbohydrates with 26 grams. They are rich in proteins with 2 grams, but they are not rich in fat as other foods we have here.
The benefits of yams are they help in boosting the brain function. They are rich in vitamins, They are rich in vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, and so on. And they help in fighting cancer properties.
And sometimes on the matoke you can also add potatoes as another side dish.
And now we are going to prepare our matoke.
After peeling, Noah has to wrap the matoke in banana leaves. But we know that the banana leaves can't hold the food alone. It has to have some extra support such that you can pull the food out of the saucepan or the thing you're using to cook it. So in our case, we are going to use banana fibers. That when he finishes wrapping, he can use the banana fibers because they are two, one at this side and one at the other side. You can just tangle them together and pull the food out.
Then we put small banana leaves so as to add another dish without wasting banana leaves.
These other banana leaves we add on, they prevent the matoke that's already there from passing through the banana leaves because naturally banana leaves are not very strong.
Then we wrap up our food so that we don't lose the heat as it starts to cook.
And the heat that's in the food is steam, because when the water evaporates it turns into steam. And this steam is both moisture and heat, which will get trapped in the food and the food will boil faster.
When preparing the luwombo, you have to partly roast the banana leaves in order for the soup not to drain out.
Which in Uganda they are called mpombos.
This luwombo was once this green, but since we are going to cook sauce from banana leaves, you have to partly roast it in order for the soup not to drain.
The mpombo, they turn it into this color, they roast it and it changes color, and it's stronger than the normal banana leaf because now it's able to catch all the soup and prevents it from pouring out of the... And the luwombos are not supposed to be combined together because it will be a big mess. The groundnut luwombo and the chicken luwombo.
Let Noah show us how to make chicken luwombo. Before we make the chicken luwombo, the chicken has to be roasted, not with spices, but natural chicken has to be roasted in order for you to preserve it if you're to make the luwombo the following day, or in order for the flavor that is on the chicken to mix up with the spices that we are going to mix with the chicken. And roasting gives the chicken color. We'll start by adding tomatoes to the chicken. Then green pepper for the flavor. Then we add the onions for the aroma. Then lastly, the carrots for the color. After this, we add some Irish potatoes for color. Then we add some salt to boost up the taste. Finally, add some water after mixing them. In order for this meal to be nutritious, we are not supposed to add in spices such as reiko, cinnamon, paprika, and so on,
such that our nutrients don't get lost during the process.
Take note that this meal is not, we are not using cooking oil, so as the meal is traditionally appetizing. We then wrap it up to prevent the juices from pouring out. We tie it tightly to prevent the sauce from pouring out. Then start with the groundnuts and mushrooms, Luwombo.
And now he has to pour the groundnuts into the luwombo. He has to do it carefully, because if it doesn't, some food might be wasted. And now he adds in some mushrooms. He had to wash them to take off all the dirt that was on. Remember, our mushrooms are only rich in protein. Thus making when people eat them, they'll get energy, or they'll get it. Because proteins are bodybuilding foods and energy-giving foods. And he adds in the remaining onions from the ones we used to put in the chicken luwombo. Puts in salt for taste. Make no mistake of putting in a lot of salt, because the luwombo will now become too salty. So now he mixes in water in the mixture.
We basically use the mushroom water in order to add a nice aroma and taste.
He's going to wrap it up carefully, just like he did to the chicken luwombo.
Then he has to wrap it up. Then he has to tie it tightly in order for the sauce not to pour out. After this, go back to our food and start arranging the food. order for cooking to take place.
Remember, we had yam, and now he has to put it on top of the food as the side dish. Puts the luwombo on top of the matoke carefully so that it doesn't spill.
Make sure that the luwombo is placed onto the food properly to avoid it from pouring. Our yam is then placed onto the food that it may also be cooked. We then add on banana leaves so that when the water starts boiling, the steam may not escape from the food. In order to strengthen the food, he used one of the banana leaves that has already been used to cook. You wrap it around the hip in order for the steam not to pass through. Then finally, cover the food with another saucepan.
So then we are now ready to cook our food and go to the kitchen.
So after putting the food on fire, we wait for 2 to 3 hours for the food to get ready. After putting in the firewood and the fire, we put on the food and wait for 2 to 3 hours for the food to get ready. As our food is cooking, we are going to get some greens, which we are going to cook in order for us to get some roughage. Welcome to our kitchen. Here we are going to cook our greens, but we are going to use a gas cooker. First, we are going to put some water in our greens in order for them to boil. Then we add some salt. Mix. After that, we light our gas cooker in order to boil our greens. So first we switch on the gas, then we light the cooker. Then we leave our greens to boil for some time.
Noah, Nicole and Kasule have given us a hearty meal. Even while you're away, you'll always find the children doing it right. To all those parents that have trained their little ones, we appreciate. Welcome to our lunch. Thank you for cooking. Thank you very much. Now the food is ready and we are going to serve it. Remember, we have the chicken and the groundnuts Luwombo. Ready. It is the chicken. Wow. There. It is the groundnuts. They are all ready. Ready to serve. And I know they're a delicacy. You are already salivating because Noah, Nicole, and George have done it. The aroma. There. Oh, the mushroom. There. We serve it in a basket if it were in an open space, especially to the in-laws, but now that it's going to the dining table, we shall always use the dishes. Groundnut Luwombo. Oh, I'm already hungry. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, George. And thank you, Nicole. The chicken is already here. You remembered the Irish. This is great. Amazing. As colorful as he said. Wow. Complete. It is now ready to eat. They did it right. I didn't have to be around. But since meal time is family time, finally mother comes in to ensure that we all eat a hearty meal. Let's see if the matoke is ready. Wow. Wow. Hungry? Welcome. Amazing. So we are going to serve our matoke. You're wondering how do we take it to the dining place when it's already down here. But we shall do it traditionally. Here. You see? It's the reason why these two were put on top of the food, so that we can now serve it on the plates. With the help of this, you get it right. Or right. And there. Daddy's at work. He has to find his meal ready. So we shall keep it. and we shall take it back to the kitchen to keep warm on the stove. But you ensure whether the water is still enough. And then we shall add water. Please take it. Cover it. And then let's take the food to the dining. Welcome.